It's the Brad and John Show.
It is the Brad and John Show. Today's date is the 6th of March. This is the B block, the Bravo block, or the Brad block. And what do we do in the Bravo block, John?
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
And we start off with...
It's number 3.
John, I don't... hold on. I just almost spilled my Mountain Dew. I can't have that. Yesterday, I had an interesting thing happen to me. I went to my Wentzville networking group, which I was late for, and I'm late every morning because it starts at 8:30 and it takes me a little longer to get out there. Anyway, at the end of the networking group, they give a shout out to, or let the people make shout outs to events that are upcoming. So people, hey, we got a fundraiser, blah, blah, blah. A nice woman who I will not identify because I don't want to taint her in this respect. She gave a promo for an upcoming event for Little Black Book. You know what?
Oh, LBB. Now, is this Shelley's bestie Angel?
No. Well, it's Shelley's bestie Angel who runs Little Black Book, but this was not the lady. This was not Angel from Little Black Book. This was one of the members of Little Black Book. And for those of you who never heard of Little Black Book before, Angel Megasano started this group like 10 years ago. And I have to tell you, it's a very impressive group. It's a bunch of very impressive women, and it's women only, and they are there to better themselves. Most of them own businesses. Some of them are corporate types. Most of them are small businesses. And it's there to essentially help the women grow, prosper in their life as being a woman. Okay. So she gives this event, very nice. And I said, how come men can't come to that event? And OMG, the flood walls opened on poor old Brad. Matter of fact, one woman yelled, boy, you asked the wrong person to ask that question. So this lady proceeded to tell me in no uncertain terms that women have been discriminated against for hundreds of years. And this is a chance, and I'm paraphrasing what she said because she went on for a good minute and dressed me down. She went on for a good minute telling me that women needed their own space and men shouldn't invade.
I like that argument.
Men shouldn't invade.
It's relevant to the transgender argument. Go ahead.
So I said, which got a laugh from the group, I said, well, today I'm identifying as a woman, so can I join? And...
Way to go, Brad. You are nothing if not a gender warrior there. So that's good. That's good for a good laugh. You've run into this before with Nina Needlepoint, and that wasn't, obviously somebody like a Nina isn't going to be able to process that efficiently or successfully. But did this woman seem angry?
She wasn't angry. She was, once again, I say these women in Little Black Book, I've told you the goofy story about the guy who tried to start a comparable
what happened
group.
there, Brad?
Oh, it was a meltdown. It was all these guys.
We discussed it last week. If folks want to hear it, they can listen to, we actually talked about something interesting in that segment, which was clavicular.
Right. And the guy came out of I live in my mom and dad's basement and I haven't seen sunlight. Today's the first day I've been outside since 2022, that kind of stuff. Okay. But here's what I don't understand, okay? And I'll never understand this. Not just women, but blacks and other people, okay? They have in Somalia, or in certain parts of European cities, they have what they call no-go zones, okay? So if you aren't whatever the race is, black or Latino or whatever, you're not allowed in those areas. And they've already talked about this, having no-go zones in Minneapolis, where unless you're Somali, you can't go in those areas, okay? You have the Black Congressional Caucus, and as a white person, you can't join the Black Congressional Caucus. That would be like saying a group that started off a group that said, okay, we're going to start a group to combat religious persecution, but if you're Jewish, you can't join. Get what I'm saying, John? It's
yeah, I get exactly what you're saying, for sure.
It's highly hypocritical in my point. And to the point where, and this is the interesting thing, I guarantee you that if I were able to, successfully get together a group of dudes in the Westplex where we met and we smoked cigars and things like that, and it got to be popular, there would be women who would say, hold on a minute now, this isn't fair. How come you don't let women in? Because, hey, we tried to join Little Black Book and they wouldn't let us in, so we started our own organization. Get what I'm saying, John?
I do. That would be a bit of a Pyrrhic victory, wouldn't it, though? Like, it would feel good to know that you made your point, but I mean, you wouldn't really get anything from it, right? And don't men have their own areas, and women in real life, they don't have to have a title on them, but men are able to hang out with each other and women are able to hang out with each other, right?
I guess, but they don't discriminate. See, the interesting thing for me, there's a lot of business going on in these little black book meetings, and I want to be a part of that. I want that business. That's what I want. I don't care if they're women, men, they're cyclops, they're unicorns. I don't care. I want the business. That's what I want.
Yeah, I love that idea, Brad. I can't believe that wasn't well received at an event where the vibe is generally to help each other.
See, that's the whole point. It's like the Chamber of Commerce. What are chambers of commerce for? Aren't they to unilaterally help everybody? Isn't that the idea?
No, they're for mostly hotel conference rooms to sell disgusting rubber chicken that's provided by second-rate companies, and then people that, like, I'm not going to say Brad Hildebrand, but Brad Hildebrand, to give each other business cards that they'll never follow up on.
Did you spell that capital B, capital R, capital A, capital D? And you know what that stands for?
I did, Brad, because I respect your brand and I pay attention to detail.
Well, everybody knows that capital BRAD stands for before reading, after dining. Okay, number 2.
It's time for Brad's number 2.
It is, okay. I heard this incredible story yesterday, and it was absolutely positively amazing. I will just say this. Don't screw with the Israelis and from the Jewish IDF, and don't screw with them because they'll get you. Remember
what happened, Brad?
Remember the exploding pagers that Hezbollah got? Remember those?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty funny gimmick.
Okay, how did the Israelis know exactly where Khomeini was when they bombed him? How did they know this? Because they're the ones.
Did he have some sort of a pager on him?
No. Wait till you hear this story. They have tons of traffic cameras in Tehran, and the Israelis have, on a regular basis, tapped into the traffic cameras where they can watch all the goings-on the streets in Tehran. And they specifically knew the route that the Khomeini guy, whatever his name is, the Ayatollah, took from his house to the meeting room. And they also knew, like, the other top dudes, and they knew where they were, where they lived, and how they knew their daily routines. Because how did they know this? They sat there and they watched the traffic cams that they hacked into. So they knew the whereabouts of almost every single important person in the Iranian government, okay? And that's why on a Saturday morning, the Israelis are the ones, from what I've been able, the Department of War will not answer this question, but it's pretty much been proven, the fact that the very first attack on Saturday morning, a week ago tomorrow, was by the Israeli Air Force and Israeli missiles, and if you've seen the video of the center where they're at, this government building just being obliterated, and all these people were killed because they knew they were there, because the Israeli, I guess, is that the Mossad or whatever, or some Israeli Defense Ministry, or what would be like,
I think it's the Mossad, yeah.
I guess maybe comparable to our NSA or our CIA. They knew where they were because they were watching them on the traffic cameras. I mean, did you ever think, I mean, when I heard that, I thought to myself, I never would have thought of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that it's a big win for the folks at Flock.
I don't know if they were flock cameras.
The only thing is, when we talk about it on the show, I had this chick named Meg. You might know her. She's an officer. She threw me up against the wall. And unfortunately, I was like, hey, easy, Butch, because that's what I call her. I mean, she reminds me of a former shortstop in the 80s. But I was like, hey, Meg, what are you so mad about? And she's like, flock cameras are not funny. Don't you ever be joking about red light cameras either.
Well, Meg Parks. And, once again, Meg, if you want to sue me, be more than happy to, have you sue me.
And you know what? You could get a box of rubber bands and a helium tank.
Do you know why Meg never got into trouble in Franklin County?
Why is that?
Her father was the prosecuting attorney.
Oh, Bob Parks.
Yes, that was her father.
Oh, really? Are you serious? Was she really related to Bob Parks?
As a heart attack is Meg Parks.
Wow,
is Bob
nice.
Parks'
well, that's
daughter.
good. That gives her a little bit of immunity, right?
That's why you never get in trouble. If your dad's the prosecuting attorney in a county, you never get in trouble. Okay, you ready for number 1, John?
Yes, Brad.
And now, big finish, Brad's number 1.
Okay, John, I don't have my foil hat on, but I heard this the other day on a podcast. And I thought to myself, you know what? And it brings up personal experience that I had with something which was very weird, okay? The thing I'm talking about is, why is everybody and their brother, their panties in a bind about the data center things, okay? And this gentleman threw out a very interesting theory. He says that this whole disruption, that all these people getting bent out of shape, and he thinks that a lot of this is being pushed by, are you ready for this, John?
I'm ready.
The Chinese.
Oh, in order. So let me follow this. Let me just connect these dots. The theory then would be China is funding these groups because they don't want America to successfully compete in data centers.
Exactly, because they want to be the king of the hill in data centers, because they know that AI, and once again, data centers not just specifically for AI, it's one of the components.
They're for a lot of other things.
Other things.
And so this gentleman, I'm sure, had a mountain of evidence to connect the CCP to these groups. Right?
John, it's pretty interesting because, remember, you're a big Twitter guy, and I heard something yesterday on Twitter I thought was fascinating. Maybe we'll do that in the C block. But you're a Twitter guy, and remember just recently, Elon, or somebody at X, put the aspect of that when you have your profile, it shows you what country you're from. You know what I'm saying?
Which is great. So you can see a lot of agitprop. You can see a lot of people that claim to weigh in on an American discussion, and they're tweeting from, it's a bot, from Indonesia or from China or from Singapore.
Right. But they don't have that on Facebook. And John, maybe in C block, John, on the jerkometer, with 10 being the biggest jerk and 1 being not a jerk, where would you rate me on the jerkometer?
It depends on context. I think that, like, if you're responding to an old radio guy or someone like a woman your age, like pushing 100, I think you're a giant jerk. And I think that if it's a normal, functional human being, especially someone you might want business from, you're cloying and very polite.
Okay, I will. In the C block, I will read you. Matter of fact, or should I read it right now?
Read it right now, and let me go out on a limb and say you said something sarcastic to someone and they didn't take it well.
I have a paragraph which I've written, which I've put on probably 30 or 40 different of these data center Facebook pages where everybody's going, "Oh my God, it's terrible. Data centers."
And you just cut and paste it and post it there?
I do.
Okay, there you go. I mean, that's creative. Go ahead.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Data centers are a curse. My uncle Elmo was a dairy farmer. They built a new data center across 467 from his farm. Now his cows only produce skim milk. It's killing his business. And my Auntie Eunice has a new data center down from her beauty parlor. The water pressure is now so low that she can't get all the shampoo out of her customers' hair. I work with a guy, Hugh Janus, whose wife left him because the data center near his house has caused him to have ED. That's a low blow. Ban data centers before it's too late. That's what I put.
That's funny, Brad. That's a good shtick. And so as a social experiment, I'm sure you get some people who respond to it as if you're serious because they don't get the joke. Yes. And then do you have some people that get angry and say, this data centers aren't funny. Why are you minimizing the importance of this?
I mostly get thumbs up and laughing faces. That's what I mostly get. But
okay, so even some boomers get the joke.
Right. But see, the point being, I could be being paid by the Chinese. Now, can I tell a quick story here?
Yeah, please do, Brad.
Okay. This is maybe 10, 12 years ago. Okay. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere in Washington, this campaign springs up. And I'm going, who in the world's behind this? And they had a website, and it was called, and it was interesting because I can't remember the exact name of the website. It was called Smoke Out Washmo or something like that, or Breathe Easy Washington or something like that, okay? And all of a sudden, a woman who I knew, who was sort of an interesting woman, became the chairman of this, and she starts showing up at the Washington City Council meetings. We need to enact a anti-smoking ordinance. Now, what's interesting because of this, there's two interesting aspects of this, one of which, about 2 months before this thing surfaced, there was a guy who opened up a hookah lounge in downtown Washmo. Okay, you know what the hookah lounge is, John, where you smoke stuff? You know what I'm talking about?
I do know, yeah.
Okay, so all of a sudden, everybody in Washington, yeah, we need to put anti-smoking. And the city council was like, oh my God, we can't do this quick enough.
So who was funding the campaign? Brad?
Okay, let me tell you a little bit more of the story. Okay, so the exact same name. I have a friend that lived in Hannibal, a radio guy, and somehow or another we got talking about this, and he says. And he was like politically connected. I don't think he was on the city council at the time. At one point he was, but he says, that just came up in Hannibal with the exact same name. So what started happening was I started going around on Facebook looking at various cities, and the exact same thing was happening at these various cities all over the country. And I'm going like, okay, what in the world is this? Who's behind this? Because it's the same thing. Same thing. Smoke. I can't remember the exact verbiage, but it was like smoke out in the name of the city or stop smoking.
Like smoke-free Washmo or something like that.
I think that's what it might have been. Mike, smoke-free Washington and stuff like that. So me being the nerd that I am, I go on the GoDaddy Who Is page, and I pulled up a couple of them. I go, who in the world is doing this? So in the GoDaddy Who Is page, it lists a technical rep with a phone number. I believe the phone number was someplace in Oklahoma or something like that. And it gave a guy's name. So I called the guy. Guess who he worked for, John?
Did he work for a hookah company?
American Cancer Society.
Oh, nice. So then they were establishing what they pretended were grassroots, or more accurately, astroturfing.
Yes.
These community groups to push for tougher smoking laws.
Yes.
That makes sense.
And when I started asking more questions, he got nervous. Hey, I can't talk to you. Where you live? I go, I'm in St. Louis. He says, let me look up, and he goes up here. Here's the spokesperson for St. Louis American Cancer Society. So I got the phone number. I called this woman 5, 6, 7 times. Finally, she called me back, and she couldn't. Judge. What's his name? My judge.
Judge Mathis.
No. My judge that just got.
Sheriff Arpaio.
No. The judge that I was in front of that just got booted off the bench. You know, I'm talking about.
Thornhill. I just said Thornhill.
Judge Thornhill. He would have been proud of me because I'm proud of her because she couldn't have been more evasive. She would never answer my question. And I'm going like, okay, why don't you just come out and say that we're the American Cancer Society? Well,
because it would look bad, and people would wonder why they give money to the Cancer Society and the Cancer Association or whoever is fighting local businesses. Brad, the year you're thinking of was 2012, and there were groups called Smoke Free Hannibal, Smoke Free Cape Girardeau, Smoke Free St. Charles, Smoke Free Washmo.
American Cancer Society. Okay, I make my point that you can't say that these people who are against the data centers aren't being stirred up by the Chinese. Get what I'm saying, John?
Yeah, I think you can say that. I think it would be interesting if someone had like some actual ties, like some proof, like, okay, this group is getting money from. I mean, it's a beautiful theory right now. I think it would be awesome if somebody had some evidence about that.
Okay, I had one guy, and it was interesting. You asked me when I put my little soliloquy on all these different. Is that a proper word? Good word, soliloquy?
It's not pronounced quay. It's soliloquy, but go ahead.
Soliloquy. If I put that on these sites, I did have one guy write me back a whole paragraph, and it was interesting because he likened this to coal mines. And he talked about the fact that West Virginia, the real estate values in West Virginia were in the toilet because they had so many coal mines, and the coal mines have ruined West Virginia. And you know what? I did my little research, and you know what it came up with, John?
What's that?
You know which state has the most data centers in the entire country? Take a guess.
Is it West Virginia?
No, it's Virginia, their neighbor. And the interesting part of that is he talked about how in West Virginia, the real estate values are going down and nobody wants to live there because of all these coal mines. So I pulled up Realtor.com, and I went in and I went into the various states. And the interesting part of it was that in Virginia, that has the most data centers, 180. Texas is number 2 at like 135. In 180 data centers in Virginia. And he's saying that because in West Virginia, nobody wants to live there because of coal mines. And he's saying the same thing's happening if you have all these data centers in your state. 180 data centers, and the average home price in Virginia is $450,000. And according to Realtor.com, they're projecting 5% increase year over year for the property value in Virginia.
Holy cow. Now, Brad, let me ask you a personal question. Yeah. Did it feel good to go down this rabbit hole and get this data and prove to a stranger that he was wrong?
John, you know what? I did this in the afternoon. And after I did this, I went down to my local Quickie Mart and it was a Wednesday, and I bought a Missouri lottery ticket. And I shouldn't tell you this, but I won Powerball. Then I went to the casino and I took some of my winnings and I got a waiver from the pit boss to put $10,000 on black. They spun the roulette wheel and I got black. Then I went over to the craps table, and for 22 times in a row, I either rolled 7 or 11. And then I put all the money in the back of my truck and I drove down 70. I thought to myself, oh my God, I didn't put my tonneau cover on the back. And I got back to my office and all my money was gone.
Oh, no. Well, I have a good idea where 10K should have gone. Brad, it's a shame that pit boss wasn't around when you tried to buy some TWA stock.
We have to take a break.